Hi folks, this is Tristan with Strikelines. Wanted to show you our 3D Santa Rosa sound chart, which is a free sample chart that you can download from strikelines.com. So just go to strikelines.com, you can scroll down the page. Our charts are alphabetized, so they're in alphabetical order. You'll see the 3D Santa Rosa sound chart. These our 3D charts are at the top, waypoint charts are at the bottom. We've got a bunch of waypoint charts off of Tampa, off Pensacola and Destin, and also some rec charts up in the northeast as well. So we'll download the 3D Santa Rosa sound chart, view chart. Choose the Google Earth, add it to your cart. And we can go up to the top, check out. Fill in your information, click place order. On your order confirmation page, you'll have two download links. One is going to be for the instructions, and the other is going to be a zipped chart file. Download those instructions first, take a look over them, make sure you understand everything. They're going to tell you to download the zipped chart file, extract it, and then open up the doc.kml file inside. Once you do that, you're going to get the Santa Rosa sound chart. Looks like this. We'll start over here on the west end, just south of Gulf Breeze. This chart goes to about 30 feet in depth, so after 30 feet it's going to cut out, as you see there. Our charts normally use a white or a tan for the land, red for the very shallow areas, and then it moves from the red down to a deep blue or purple. You can see this is a sandy bottom. There's not much feature to it. It's not like something you'd see up in the Gulf of Maine with a lot of rocks. Just flat, sandy, relatively boring bottom. You've got a shallow area here, and then that interesting little feature. Looks like a mound of some sort, maybe some rocks on it. We will disable the chart for a second, see if Google Earth's got some imagery. They do. Again, looks like a shallow area, probably rocks. Enable it. As you can see, the charts do get a little grainy as you zoom in. That's because it's just tough, if not impossible, to find sonar data or other data that we can use for charts with a resolution better than 1 meter. But 1 meter resolution will let you see just about everything, including relatively small rocks, very small wrecks, all sorts of other stuff. There's an interesting hole just off the south side of Gulf Breeze. You see it's surrounded by a shallow area, but it's quite a deep little hole right there in the center of that. Here's the Bob Sykes Bridge. You can see the cut through there, but oddly enough, the deeper area is a little bit south of that. Little Sabine Bay is in here. You've got a very deep, or a comparatively deep channel that runs all the way around the very shallow area in the center. Some flats here, maybe some man-made structure or something right there. You can see how it's a relatively straight line, which normally indicates man-made rather than natural. So if we disable the chart for a second, you can see that barely on Google Earth. Again, not quite sure what that is. Maybe some rubble or something. Enable the chart again. See some nice little holes along the edge of the shallow area. And a lot of deep holes here. You can tell it drops off from very shallow to pretty deep very quickly. As we make our way east, see this deeper area? Might be a little feature there. Perhaps some rocks or something. A couple little holes here. Again, deeper holes in the shallow area. If we disable the chart, we can see those on Google Earth as well. You see them there. Interesting features. Sandy bottom, nothing really to it, just some depth changes. Here's a couple little things, maybe a rock, perhaps perhaps rock or something. Maybe another rock with a little bit of a washout around it there. Little hole. Then as we continue moving east, looks like some man-made indentations in the bottom there, just because of how unnatural that just about perfect little semicircle is. That tells us it's probably man-made. Neat little area of relief. You've got some deeper green, very shallow orange there, all very tight together. I would definitely check that out if I was out fishing. Nice deep channel. Of course, the Intercoastal Waterway runs through here. Some holes in that flat sandy bottom in here. Maybe check those out if you're looking for some reds or trout. You see some spoils here from the dredging activity in this channel. So spoils here. Again, deep holes, probably dredged for that neighborhood. This is the Navarre Beach Bridge. You can see the washouts created by currents around the piling there. Washouts are always something to look for. They'll clue you in on a wreck or a rock or something else hard on the bottom. And then check out this really straight north-south trench. To me, that says there's either a pipe or a big cable or something right down there. If I was fishing, I'd definitely check it out, but don't anchor there. You might get caught. Some nice deep holes in the middle of the flats. Interesting area, maybe some prop strikes or something in those shallow areas between the deeper holes. Again, just flat, sandy bottom with some holes. We've got a mound here with a washout around it, maybe a mound or a rock or something. That's a neat little feature. Breaks up that flat sandy bottom. More holes. As you can tell, these chart files are huge. They can sometimes take a couple seconds to load. Here we've got a change in the bottom. No longer is it just that flat sandy bottom. Instead, we've got a little texture to it. Could be some live bottom. Might be a little bit of man-made debris or something like that. Probably live bottom. Some sand ripples from the current over the sandy bottom. And as we continue moving east, you see this dredge channel, spoils on either side. More sand waves. And then south of Santa Rosa Island, you've got a little bit of data here in the Gulf of Mexico. There's that second sandbar. Now, because this data is normally a year or two old before it reaches a chart plotter, you can't rely on these sandbar positions or even the depths in general. You don't want to use these charts for navigation, just for fishing and diving. The structure's not going to change, but there could always be some new features, or the sandbars may have moved, or anything like that. Looks like we might have a tiny artificial or something that created a disturbance in the sandy bottom offshore here. So now a couple features of Google Earth. If I want to know how deep this deep cut is, I'm going to drop a pin, move that pin to the deep area. We'll call that deep cut. I can pull the latitude and longitude here if I want to put this pin or put this location into my chart plotter. Now I'm going to leave it like that. Disable the chart, and I'm going to enable the NOAA charts. Normally the NOAA charts will automatically load, But keep in mind, Google Earth's pulling the NOAA data from NOAA servers, so it can take a few minutes, and you have to have an internet connection to be able to load those NOAA charts. So if I just want to display the one chart and not all these lines, I'm going to find the chart that's in that area. So that's this green here, to a colorless preview. It's going to show up on the left side under my temporary places. So I'm going to disable the NOAA RNCs, get rid of some of that noise from all the colored boxes. Zoom in, and sure enough, NOAA's saying that's a deep area of about 22 feet or thereabouts. So that's always useful to be able to pull up those NOAA charts. I'll go ahead and disable that preview, enable the Santa Rosa Sound chart again. Now if I want to know how far it is from my pin there to these holes over here, what I can do is go to this measure tool at the top. I want a line, miles, or you could use nautical miles or feet or whatever your preference is. Move that out of the way. I'll click here at the beginning, run it up here, click. So we're showing a depth of about 1.6 miles and a heading of 294 degrees. So that's another feature of Google Earth that can be useful. You can also, for instance, say you wanted to know how large this area was. You can use the same tool, do a polygon, and then click out your box, and that'll tell you that your perimeter is 2 miles and your enclosed area is 0.24 square miles. So perhaps you want to use your little Simrad or something to do a little bit of scanning. You can figure out the size there. So I'll clear that. And you can load other charts at the same time. For instance, if you bought the Gulf Deep chart as well, you can enable that. We'll zoom out, go south here. Here's the DeSoto Canyon. All these domes down here, the canyons. This chart's got some really neat features on it, but we'll do a separate video on that. So that's the Santa Rosa Sound chart. As always, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Shoot us an email at info@strikelines.com or get in touch via Facebook and Instagram. Thanks.